Please, Thomas.
All right. Hei, moi kaikille. Mukavaa, että olette osallistumassa tähän Tourstart-koulutukseen. Ja niin kuin varmaan ymmärsitte tuossa jo, niin tämä tullaan nauhoittamaan. Ja tämä tullaan jakamaan tämä video sitten YouTubesta. Jos ette halua näkyä, niin piilottakaa toi videokuva. Ja voitte vaihtaa vaikka nimeäkin, jos tarve vaatii. Mutta muuten niin, olen mukana tässä, jos jostain syystä niin ei saa sanottua asiaa englanniksi, niin kysykää ihmeessä suomeksi ja koitetaan sitten tulkata se englanniksi. Ja tämän aikana saa ihan vapaasti Janin keskeyttää ja pitääkin keskeyttää, eli kun tulee se kohta, jos tulee kysymyksiä, niin kysykää heti. Älkää nostako mitään kättä siellä, vaan puhukaa ihan suoraan, koska Jani kun pitää esitystä, niin hän ei välttämättä näe niitä kädennostoja tai mitään muitakaan. Rohkeasti vaan huudelkaa sieltä mukaan, niin meitä on tänään aika vähän täällä, niin varmasti saadaan hyvät keskustelut aikaan. Ei muuta kuin tervetuloa. Jan, that's it.
Thank
so,
you.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Thomas. And thank you for allowing me to record this and share on YouTube. This is good, so other members from the BMW Club can see this, or you can also see it later, and you can perhaps recall some of the things we talked about. I will in a minute start to share my screen, but first of all, I'm Jan. I am the founder of Tourstart, and what we will do today is that we will create a motorcycle ride that consists of 5 parts. And I will, with this, take you through the basic functions of Tourstart. And after each part of the motorcycle tour, there will be not a short break, but there will be time to ask questions and recap and talk again about if something needs to be reset. If there's something on the way that you say, I need to ask now, please ask. No, you should not worry about that, because we are here to have a two-way communication so that we all get comfortable about planning a motorcycle ride. I will share my screen. Good. Can you see my screen? Will you?
Yes, we can.
That's good. Thank you. I will use Denmark as the demonstration, because this is what I know and this is where I can comfortable demonstrate the functions to you. Every time you go to a website or you have to see some new software, it is a good idea just to take a few seconds to look around. What is it that we have on the website? What functions do we have, and where are the functions placed, so that it's much easier to get comfortable with working with this. To the left here, we have the menu. In the top, we have the public tours. And when I show Denmark is because that I'm located in Denmark, and then my IP address will center Denmark for me, so that I will view the tours that we have here. Then there is a menu for my tours. I can see my friends' tours, and I now can also create tours. I'll scroll down a bit, and the other functions is we have a new function where we have places. We will not talk about this today, but you can see this and you can create your own places to share this with the fellow motorcycle riders. You can see the tracks that you have done and recorded on the app, and see the bike club and biker beds, members and Tourstart Pro, and finally we have some videos for Tourstart Academy so that you can get a certificate. And this academy is taking you again through some of the basic functions that we have on Tourstart. To the right, we have the list of tours that is shown on the map. It's important to notice that when you zoom on the map or move the map, the list will change because the map will function as a filter. when you mouse over a tour here on the map, it will preview the tour. When you mouse over on the list, it will preview the tour here on the map, and it will also show a preview in the bottom of the picture. I can zoom in and have this shown, and when I zoom in, we can see the number if in these icons will change, because this is a cluster of tours. In this area here is around there are 21 tours, and when I zoom in, the cluster will open, and at a certain point there will be some green markers, and these green markers, they indicate that there is a starting point of a tour here. And when I mouse over of this one, then this tour will be shown, and I will see the preview of the tour down here. In this way, I can surf around and try to find some tours that others have made, so I can get some inspiration. This is about to create a tour. So I will start to create a tour. We have a large button up here, button that is purple. When it's purple, is it because it's an important function? When it is white, means it is a secondary function. When you click on this one, then you will, in other views, you will see get the list form, but here it is white because this is not primary function, it's a secondary function. I will click on Create Tour. When I get the Create Tour function, it will start to give me a tour and then a number. This is the counter. I have now made 510 tours, and it will count the next one with 511 and so on. And you can modify this, you can delete the number, you can make the changes that you like. Personally, I keep the number because then I can see how old my tour is and so on, and it's easy for me to overview my tours. I'll give it the name BMW Finland. What I else can see here is that I can see how long is my tour. I can give it some specifications. If I want to, I can import a GPX file. I can mark this tour private or public. I'll just open this one. This is my sharing overview. For now, I have not shared it with anybody. I can share it, I can keep it private for me only. I can keep it private so it's only my friends and I who can see it, or I can select a specific friend or friends who can see it. If I want to make this public, I just click here, but then I need to add minimum one picture and a bit of text. Also, I can share it in my club, for example, BMW Club Finland, so it's easier for other members of your club to find the tour. In this area, we add the picture and the text, and then the point start via endpoint. You can write the address. Normally, when I plan tours, I just like to click on the map, but this is your preference. And for demonstration purposes, I always click on the map. It's more visual, easy to understand what we are doing. But if you search for an address, it will just start to filter the address, and then you select what you see from the list. This is my home position. And I want to start my motorcycle ride from my home. When we create a motorcycle ride, it's important to think about it in two ways. First of all, the strategy. What is it we want? Where do I want to start? What do I want to see? And where do I want to end my tour? When we have done that, then the next step is to define on which road do I want to ride. With this in mind, I will now show you how I do it. I just click on the map and the pointer will be set. I zoom out a bit and then I will start my journey going up to this point up here. This is a meeting point. Many motorbikers, they meet here in this area, and when motorbikers meet and make a stop, they eat some ice cream. This is a good place for that. I will move my map a bit because I will go to my friend. I will visit him and spend the evening together with him, and then the next morning we will continue our motorcycle ride together. We will say that he lives here. Now I'm basically done, but this is not an end point, this is a via point. As you can see, there is a small shadow behind the via point, and this is red, and this is the end point. When I mouse over, I can change this to an end point. I will zoom out, and then we can see now my tour is done. The first part at least. The second part of the tour is to define on which road do I want to ride. I want to ride on the small roads. I will zoom in here. I want to ride on this road. So this is a drag and drop function. I move my mouse to the road, then it becomes a finger, and there's a pointer. There's a point on the map. I will left click, keep my left click down, and then you can see it's a hand carrying the point to the road. I will drop it, and it will change the route. All is fine. But now I want to modify it a bit further. I want to ride on this road here. I want to go to this small city, make a turn, and go up here and end up in my via point where I'm having my ice cream. Again, I want to drag and drop my route. One thing I want you to pay attention to is where I drag the point or drop the point. I will just on a random place on the map, I will take my point, as you can see here to the left. I'll just grab the route, and now I drag it. It can be a little hard to see, am I on the right spot here? Am I exactly on the road where I want to drop my point so it's perfect? Or am I a bit off? Now you can see, oh yeah, now I'm a bit off. I will go down and make a U-turn. This is not my intention. I move my point a little up. I know I'm a little off, but I want to show you a function that we have developed in this regards because it's not always so clear to see. So now I will drop this one and then pay attention to what is happening with the point because the point is moving. I will drop it now. You can see the point is automatic moving into the road. This is because we have found that many times when you create a route, you by coincidence drop the point down the side road. And the function is that where you drop the point, it will stick to the nearest road. So if there's a side road, it will stick to that one, and it can be 20 meters down. This is not so good. If you ride on your own, it's not a big issue. But if you ride with friends, then you know for sure what you will talk about when you are gonna eat the ice cream. The function we have developed for that is what we call Tourstart Tour Optimizer. So we have a view up here to the right to see what are the tools shown up here. The first tool we will talk about is this Tourstart Tour Optimizer. I will drop down to show all the functions that we have. We have what we called point optimization. What you have seen here is automatic drag to route. When a point is less than 150 meters down the side road and this one is enabled, it will automatically drag into the route, or onto the route. you can regret this one, or you can accept it. I will now delete this point and demonstrate another function we have here. Good. I will delete this point. Good. Now we're back again. I will take grab the root up here, and this time I will try to place the point a little further down. I will try if I can get a little further than the 150 meter. I did that. Now it comes with a warning. Something here needs your attention. This is the function where it says correct wire point or correct drag point. This is the same whether you place a wire point or you drop a drag point at that place. Here it's possible that you can optimize by click on this one, but this one also now became purple. And this is because it's now changing to a primary function, so it needs your attention. And by clicking on this one, you will optimize all points on the route that is here shown now. I will optimize this, and it will jump back to the road, and you will avoid these small U-turns that we are not so happy about. I'll just drop one more point here. Now we'll see what more we have in the Tourstart Tour Optimizer. The next is route options. Highlight unpaved roads. Some GPS they have that you can avoid unpaved roads. We are not so happy about that. We more prefer to give users an option that to understand that this is an unpaved road, and you can then ride it or not. Some have a preference for it, some have preference for not riding them. Some says, okay, if it's just a small part, it's okay, because there's also some charming things about riding on the unpaved roads. So I will just highlight this, and then you can see this part here becomes red. I'll do it again. And you can see this part of the route is now red, and this is unpaved. I will zoom in. And then I will try to show you another function. When I right click on the point here, I get a menu. I can add a start or via or end point. I don't want to do that. I can put my home or work address. I don't want to do that. But what I want to is show on Google Maps. I will click on Google Maps here, and it will open up in a new tab. It shows exactly the position where I was clicking, and I can now just need to make this available. I can now show the route. I will maximize again. Then the street view now shows me this is an unpaved road, and then I can take a decision if I like to ride on this road or not. But I can see it's in a good condition and it's not so long, so perhaps it's okay. But nevertheless, it gives you some information to make your decision on the route. I'll close it again. Then we have the function. I'll zoom out a bit. We have the function avoid highway. This I will show later. Avoid ferry will not be demonstrated today. The last point of Tourstart Tour Optimizer is to show shaping points. I will enable, or I will show the shaping points. You can see they are blue, so now there will be added some blue points on the route. Now a blue point came here. We can zoom out, and then we can have an overview of what point types we have on Tourstart and why we have these different point types. I think start and via and end points, this is intuitively understood. As we spoke about, this is important. This is something that we need to pay attention to. The drag points is to modify the route. They're not important for us to understand what's going on. And the blue points here is a mechanism that we have developed that will place the points so that if you transfer this to your navigator, it will have sufficient points so that it will most likely write exactly the same route that you have planned on Tourstart as you have on your navigator. We have often seen that navigators, they need a certain amount of points because they calculate themselves between the points, and then the mechanism to calculate the route and the maps and everything is for specific for Garmin. It is something different specific for TomTom, and again it's something different but specific for Tourstart. So to accommodate that you don't need to worry, we have these shaping points. Then why are they not all just shaping points? That's because we need the ice cream. When I click on my wire point here, I can do this on start and end point also, but I click on my wire point. I will then get a dialog box here at the bottom of the screen, and it will say the address, and it here just shows the city name and where it is. But the trick is you can write what is specific about this one. This one is specifically my ice cream stop. And now this is your ice cream stop. And I will show you. Why, and just a second now, one more likes to enter. Just a second. When I have added this name ice cream, then when I approach this point, it will show in my navigation header in 150 meter, I will come to my ice cream. The drag points and the shaping points, they will be on the route, but they will not be mentioned by the GPS because we programmed the point so that the GPS will not mention it. So it will not say you are approaching a wire point, you're approaching a wire point. No, it will only speak to you when you approach the ice cream stop. All others are shaping points, and they're just there so you get the route to the shaping points. And this is the same that will be on the navigator. It will also be shown on the navigator, but here we have added another text. But if we write ice cream, it will also show ice cream here up here in the header. And here is another example of the app we have, where I say, okay, this is my home. Here we have ice cream. The next stop is a viewpoint, and finally is where we'll have the burger. And then it's a little more intuitive, correct, to understand when is it that I have to make my stop. This was the first part of the tour. And please, if you have any questions or comments or things we should repeat, let me know. If there are no comments, I will continue with step number 2. The step number 2 is, now I've had a nice evening together with my friend, and next day in the morning we want to continue our journey. I will have a look up here. This was part 1. Now I need to have a part 2. Part 2 will be added when I click on this tab up here, add additional part to the tour, and my endpoint will be transformed to the starting point of my new day. Very logic, because it's where I turned off ignition of my motorcycle. I will add additional part of the tour here. Now I see my start point, and I need to do the same as I did before. The strategy first. We have to find out where to stop. We will make our first stop here and drink our coffee that we have brought with us, and then we will make the second stop up here. Here is a museum that we would like to see, and I will then convert this to an endpoint by click on the shadow up here. I have now my endpoint. I will zoom out a bit, and we can then see something is going on here around this city. Here's the highway, and I don't want to ride on the highway. So I go up here and click on in my Tourstart Tour Optimizer, where I see the route options that I have, that I can now select avoid highway. And what is happening is that the route will disappear from the highway or jump away from the highway, and some blue points will be added. So now we are sure that your GPS will take you on the route that you have decided you want to go on. And now I can zoom in, and I can make my changes to the route so that I get to the point that I like to go to. But I want to ride on this part of the route here, and I'll just zoom in to see I got it placed right. Yep. I quickly zoom out again. I got it right. There's a small piece of unpaved roads, that's fine. My optimizer is white, means that I was lucky. I did not place any points down the side road. I don't need to put any special attention on my points. I'm good to go. And this was part number 2 of the tour we have made. You can see up here are some icons. Every time you see there's some icons appear, try to mouse over and see what it is they are doing. I will not go through everything here. It is just for your information to try to be curious and spend some extra seconds to observe what is it that I see. That's a big help in the future. I will now add additional part to the tour. Again, my endpoint became now my start point. We have for last 2 years spent a lot of time to develop what we call right twister. This is a function where you can get unlimited number of twisted routes on both round trip and what we call destination. To do that, we need to have a look on this part here, Tourstart Right Twister. When we start to create a tour, the part 1 and part 2, we used the function that we call POI, point of interest, which is start via endpoint. This is the traditional way to create a tour. Now we want to create a round trip. So I click on this box here, and some new tools they appear. Slide to twist your right, recalculate, and a compass. When I slide this one, the more I slide it, the longer the tour will be and the more twisted it will be. This is an algorithm doing some calculations randomly to show us some different options. I will slide it a bit, and then I can see it generates to me a tour automatically adjusted, and I can slide more or I can recalculate. I will try to slide a little bit more. This was not good. This was better. Now I recalculate it. And in this way I can modify my right twister so that it will give me the tour that I like. As you saw the one before that was not so good, we are always working on optimizing it. This is a very complex mechanism, and we are working on doing the final optimization for the website. On the app, we are done with optimization. Should you like, you can always drag and drop the route. You can, at any point here, you can drag the route to go on exactly the road that you like, so that you can modify according to your needs. This was part 3 of how we create a tour. Do not hesitate to jump in to ask any questions. I will go to part 4 and select one more part to the tour. Starting point. Now in Tourstart right twister, I will select the destination. We get the same basic tools, the twister and the recalculate, and I will then, but when you see, when I move my mouse to the map, it's not a finger, it becomes the end point. This gives you a hint that you have to place the end point on the map where you like to end your route. And I would like to drive down here together with my friend. The first route that you get is the fastest route between these points. And you can see the right twister is wide. We have not started to work on this yet. I will slide a bit and see what it gives me. Yep, this is for sure more twisted than before. I can twist a bit more. And in this way you can continue as long as you like. And now I can see the tour is 187 kilometers, and for me it's 3.5 hours ride. This is a bit individual, but that's perfect for us. I can recalculate again if I like, but this looks fine for me and I have no need to make any modifications for that. Now let's click here. Now we're done with part number 4. I will then add the last part to the tour, part number 5. My starting point is down here, but I don't want to do the destination. I want to do this one that we call FingerDraw. I will click on this, and nothing happens until you click on Start Draw Route. This one is purple. It's important. You have to do this before. And first, I will now click on Start Draw Route and then see what happens to my mouse when it comes into the map. It changed to a hand with a magnifying glass. I can zoom in or zoom out, but I will keep it here. So when I start to draw my route, I'll just left click and I will keep the mouse click down, and what I see through this magnifying glass, this is the route that will be drawn. So now I start to draw the route, and I will now release the click and it will build the route. If I like, I can go and modify it. I can drag it to be sure that I get on the route that I like. Now it shows me there's something to optimize. I'll just click on my optimize all, and it is optimized, and I avoid these U-turns that I'm not so happy about. This is the 5 ways that you can create a motorcycle ride. We are done with that, and I will now save and view tour. It just needs to work a bit. I zoom out. Here I get the entire 5 part of my tour. The tab selected is the one we call all. If I select 1 or 2 or 3, I will zoom into the specific tours. I can also mouse over here, and then it will highlight on the map which part of the tour it is that I have moused over, so I can see that this is of course correct, and I can see, oh, I want to study part number 2 a bit. I click on this one and it jumps to part number 2, and it shows me there's unpaved road, there's a via point. I could of course have given this a name, a coffee, but you understand for sure that this is the logic behind it. I can do that. I'll go back to all, show the entire tour. Now I want to go riding. It's possible, of course, to transfer the route to your navigator and get and use this one to ride the tour. The way to do that is to add to download. I will click on add to download. Then what happens is it will indicate that it goes up to the transfer GPS function. There's one tour now that is ready to be transferred, and I will click on this one to open my tours. My tours are shown here, and I need to have my Tourstart. I can transfer the tour with my Tourstart Transfer. I can install the Tourstart Transfer on my computer using this download here. I will go back. I have my, just a second. I need to quickly connect my GPS. I missed to do that prior to preparing for this demonstration here. It's now powering up, and when it powers up, Tourstart will automatically detect that there is a GPS connected. It will automatically also see what GPS it is, and then it will prepare for the download of the specific data that is necessary for this GPS type. And it takes a bit time. Now my GPS has connected. My GPS is Garmin Sumo, and I need to select the files. I'll just close this one. When I want to transfer, I can click on Start Transfer, and it will then say, now you are ready to transfer 5 routes. This is correct because our tour contains of 5 parts. When I want to transfer, I click on this one and then pay attention to the small points that is floating in this line here, in this wire, indicates that the route is being transferred. The route is transferred. Now I'm ready to find this one on my GPS, and I'm ready to get started. What else? The one I closed for was if you want to download a GPX file, you go to more options, and then down here you can select the specific type of file that you like, so you can share this with friends, or you can make a manual transfer should that be of your preference. But to see this one on the app, I will just open up my app and share the screen. So please be a little patient again. I need to prepare. It takes a few seconds. Now it's connected. Now, and I will have to find the screen. I have I will try again. Something went wrong. I'll try again. Good. I hope this one is better. Perfect. Now I will open my Tourstart app. My Tourstart app I have here. I open up my app. When I open my app, the first page that I see is my home page. In my home page, I can see how many motorcycle rides I have done this year, how long time I have been riding them, and what distance I have done. This one is a 250 meter. This is for sure not a motorbike ride. It was me out doing some testing today. But you will see here you and your friends' tracks, so you can always see where have they been riding and enjoy the fun together with them. I want to see my tours, and I click on this icon down here, Tours. The landing page for your tours are your tours. You can select to have another view. I will drop down. You can see the public tours, friends tours, safe tours, and so on. But we want to, in this situation here, we want only to find this tour that we have created. And I will go to list form. This is the icon for list form, and press on this one. Then I will see the tour that I have created. You can see this is top. This is the first one I see. This is tour 510 BMW Finland. It is a 5-day tour, and it shows the overview of the tour containing all 5 parts. I can make this available offline. I can save this one on my telephone. I will click on this icon here, and then it will become green. Now it is saved, so you don't need internet connection to find this tour at a later stage. You can see I have made other tours available offline, and some are not made available offline. But every time you click on a tour, navigate, it will automatically save the tour for offline use. I will now click on the map here to show the tour. This is my tour, and I have created this one, and you can see the first stop is ice cream, so yep, this is correct and this is important. I want to now navigate. I want to navigate to my part 1. I have a preview of my part 1. This is correct. And I will now click on Go. Then it's asking me, would you like to navigate to the beginning of the route? Then I can answer yes or no. In this situation, I will answer yes, because my start point is a little down the road. And then the logic behind having this yes or no is that if you go on the ride and you stop when you have the ice cream and you stop the navigation and then you restart again, then it will ask, do you want to navigate to the beginning of the route? And then it's natural to say no, because I'm halfway into the route, so that makes no sense. So you don't have to worry that if you stop by mistake or by you want to the navigation, you can always start, and then when you say no, the route will be shown passive on the map, and then it's you who have to find a way into the route. And as soon as you touch the route, the navigation will detect this, and it will start to navigate you to the endpoint. So there's no navigation to the route, you just find this yourself, you can see it on the map, and then you go there and it will easily take you onwards. I will say yes to this one, and we can see all the points and everything is ready.
Trip is 40 kilometers, time is 45 minutes, head southeast.
And now we're ready. Now I will end this navigation, because it is not, I don't want to do it, I just want to demonstrate. But before I do it, what is it we see? We can see how many meters there is to my home, to the start point. We can see the speed that I'm actually driving. And here we can see the GPS signal. So if something starts to be strange on your navigation, then you can just check, is this green, yellow or red? And then you can have an indication if it's the GPS signal that is the problem. You can see when you arrive, in how many minutes, and how far there is to your destination. But I will end this one. Stop. Good. I will go back to the website. Now we have created the route, we have navigated, we have transferred to our GPS, all is ready. You, as a member of the BMW Club, you have all free access to all these functions here. This is agreement made with Thomas, and that he would like to offer this to all the club members. And if you have not already signed up for this free access, you go to pricing. And Tourstart is what we call all-in-one. So there's only one subscription, and you get access to download from web, to navigate in an iPhone, or navigate in an Android telephone. You add the voucher code that Thomas has shared with you on the club in the club information, and then you apply, and then it will turn out to be $0 or €0, and you will then proceed and let's make the confirmation, and you're good to go. Good. I will go back to my tour here. There's one more function that I would like to show as the last part of this demonstration here. The part I want to show is the folder. As shown here, I will just open here. As shown here, my tours. I have a lot of folders here where I organize my tours. I organize my tours, and so it makes sense to me, and I can create a folder by clicking on this one. I already have a folder BMW Finland, but there are no tours in it. This is of course wrong. I need to have this tour in my BMW Finland folder, because this is together with you that it was made. The way I do this is that I mouse over my folder, and then it says add to folder, there's no color in it now. I open this one, and then I can select the folder that I would like to add it to, and of course I want to add it to BMW Finland, and then it becomes green. Now this one has been added to a folder. I open again and see BMW Finland. There's now one tour. Here, when you create a folder, it will prepare you to write a name. But when you have written a name, you can always rename it or remove the folder. Just for your information, that if you remove the folder, the tour will of course not be deleted, and it will just be shown under the main menu, My Tours. If you find a tour made by another person, you can also add this to a folder. It doesn't have to be your tours only. So there's a possibility when you surf on Tourstart that you find a nice tour, you add it to a folder so that you can always find it again, because there are many tours to choose from. So just bookmark, and then it's more convenient for you to work on this further.
Are you able to add the same tour to several folders?
No. Only one folder can be in.
Okay.
This was the demonstration of Tourstart, and the remaining time we have is for recap or questions or what you may like. So don't worry, please ask if you have something. You're always welcome to write an email to me. I will share my screen up here and write in the chat. If you find any if you have any questions about what we spoke about today, or very good question here, if you can add to more folders, then just write to me and I will do my best to give you a quick answer. This is my email, and then you get to me directly, and I will help. I will stop presenting. And to hear from you if we have more, or what do you have any comments, Thomas? What we should? You have seen this before, Thomas. Perhaps you have any comments, or if there are no comments, we will of course end. It's up to you.
No, actually, I have no comments from my side.
Okay. Good, very fine. Then I will stop recording, and then we will finalize this session.